nothing else but invade their own privacy every hour of the day. And I do think the use of the children is quite reprehensible.
Well,
And Harry introducing his children to England. It ain't going to be like that. And there's a long way to go before...
Our dream girl, happy 5th birthday, Lily, the As Ever founder captioned her post alongside a white heart emoji.
Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor, more specifically her name, is already making headlines. With conflict...
But the monarch and King Charles has only met Lily once, who is named after Queen Elizabeth's childhood nickname, seemingly against her chagrin.
For years, Tom Bower has been one of the royal family's most outspoken biographers, but his latest comments have reignited one of the most emotional debates yet. This time, the conversation isn't focused only on Meghan Markle or Prince Harry. Instead, it centers on their daughter, Lilibet, and what her future connection to the royal family could look like. According to recent reports, Bower has offered fresh opinions about Meghan, Harry, and their children while discussing the Sussexes' relationship with Britain and the monarchy. His comments have quickly spread across royal media, prompting passionate reactions from supporters and critics alike. But here's the important part. Many of Bower's observations are his opinions and interpretations, not official statements from Buckingham Palace or the Sussex family. At the same time, representatives for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have previously rejected many of Bower's broader claims, describing his work as speculative and strongly disputing his portrayal of them. Even so, the discussion has reignited questions that royal watchers have been asking for years. Could Archie and Lilibet eventually spend more time in the United Kingdom? How much privacy will Harry and Meghan continue to give their children? And why has every new comment about Lilibet become international news? Today, we are breaking down Tom Bower's latest discussion, separating confirmed facts from personal opinions, and explaining why this story has royal fans talking all over again. The moment Tom Bower made fresh comments about Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and their children, royal watchers immediately began debating what his remarks could mean for the future of the Sussex family. Within hours, newspapers, YouTube channels, podcasts, and social media accounts were discussing his latest observations, particularly those touching on Lilibet and the possibility of the family spending more time in the United Kingdom. But before diving into the reaction, it's important to separate three very different things: verified facts, Tom Bower's opinions, and online speculation. Bower is a royal biographer known for writing critically about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and his recent interviews continue that perspective. In recent media appearances, he argued that Harry and Meghan's planned return to Britain reflects what he sees as changing circumstances for the couple, suggesting they are seeking renewed relevance and a different relationship with the royal family. Those remarks are Bower's personal analysis, not official confirmation from the palace or the Sussexes. At the same time, representatives for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have previously rejected many of Bower's broader claims, criticizing his books and commentary as speculative and strongly disputing his portrayal of their lives. Buckingham Palace has also maintained its long-standing policy of not commenting on biographies about members of the royal family. Even with those disagreements, Bower's comments immediately attracted worldwide attention because they focused on perhaps the most emotionally sensitive subject in the entire royal story: the future of Archie and Lilibet. Ever since Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties and relocated to North America, public curiosity surrounding their children has remained extraordinarily high. Unlike previous generations of young royals, Archie and Lilibet have largely grown up away from the traditional royal environment. Their parents have consistently chosen to keep them out of the public spotlight, releasing only occasional photographs while emphasizing their desire for privacy. That approach has created an unusual situation. Millions of people around the world remain fascinated by the children, yet very little verified information about their daily lives is made public. According to royal commentators, that absence of information naturally creates space for constant speculation. Every reported visit to Britain, every family gathering, and every public comment involving the children quickly becomes an international headline. Bauer's latest discussion tapped directly into that continuing fascination by raising questions about what future visits to Britain could mean for the family's relationship with the monarchy. However, there has been no official announcement stating that Meghan and Harry have changed their long-term plans regarding where Archie and Lilibet will be raised or how often they will visit the United Kingdom. Those decisions remain private family matters unless the couple chooses to discuss them publicly. Despite that, many royal observers continue debating whether future events, particularly those connected with the Invictus Games or other family occasions, could create opportunities for the children to spend more time with relatives in Britain. That possibility remains a subject of discussion rather than confirmed policy. Another reason Bauer's comments generated such strong reactions is his long history as one of the Sussexes' most outspoken critics. His books and interviews frequently present interpretations that differ sharply from the public statements made by Harry and Meghan themselves. Supporters of Bauer argue that he asks difficult questions and offers a perspective they believe receives too little attention in mainstream coverage. Supporters of the Sussexes counter that his conclusions rely too heavily on anonymous sources and negative assumptions. That disagreement has become part of nearly every discussion involving his work. As a result, audiences often approach his latest comments through opinions they already hold about both the author and the Sussex family. Meanwhile, one undeniable fact remains unchanged. Archie and Lilibet continue to occupy a unique position within the modern royal family. They are members of one of the world's most famous families while simultaneously growing up largely outside the traditional royal system. That unusual reality ensures that almost every conversation about their future attracts enormous public interest. Whether Tom Bauer's latest observations ultimately prove influential or simply become another chapter in the ongoing debate remains impossible to know today. What is certain is that his comments have once again placed Meghan, Harry, Archie, and Lilibet at the center of an international discussion, one driven by a mixture of confirmed facts, personal opinions, and public curiosity that shows no sign of fading anytime soon. As Tom Bauer's latest comments continued circulating across royal media, another question quickly moved to the center of the conversation. Why does every discussion about Meghan and Harry's children immediately become global news? The answer goes far beyond celebrity fascination. Archie and Lilibet occupy a unique place in modern royal history. They are grandchildren of King Charles III, yet unlike previous generations of royal children, they have spent almost their entire lives growing up outside the United Kingdom. Since Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped back from royal duties in 2020 and later settled in California, the couple has consistently emphasized their desire to give their children a more private upbringing than Harry experienced as a child. That decision has dramatically reduced the number of official photographs, public appearances, and family updates involving Archie and Lilibet. As a result, every rare image or reported family gathering instantly becomes front-page news around the world. According to royal commentators, that lack of public access naturally fuels enormous curiosity, creating an environment where even the smallest development is analyzed in extraordinary detail. This is exactly the environment in which Tom Bauer's latest discussion gained attention. During recent interviews, Bauer suggested that the Sussexes' relationship with Britain may be entering a new phase and argued that future visits could become increasingly important for both practical and public reasons. Those observations reflect Bauer's personal interpretation, not confirmed plans announced by the Sussex family or Buckingham Palace. Neither Harry nor Meghan has publicly stated that they intend to relocate their family to Britain or significantly change the way they raise Archie and Lilibet. Likewise, the palace has not announced any new arrangements concerning the children's role within the royal family. Nevertheless, because Bauer has spent years writing about the monarchy and often presents strong opinions about the Sussexes, his comments immediately reignited long-running debates among royal fans. Some observers agreed with his assessment, arguing that maintaining stronger family ties with Britain could ultimately benefit Archie and Lilibet as they grow older. Others strongly disagreed, pointing out that Harry and Meghan have repeatedly spoken about wanting their children to enjoy as normal a childhood as possible, away from constant media attention. Those supporters believe the couple's decision to prioritize privacy has remained consistent since leaving royal duties, and see no verified evidence suggesting a dramatic change in that approach. According to public interviews given over the past several years, Harry has often described protecting his family as one of his highest priorities, particularly because of his own experiences growing up under intense media scrutiny. Meghan has similarly spoken about the challenges of living in the public eye and the importance of creating a stable environment for their children. Those publicly stated priorities remain among the most reliable indicators of the couple's current outlook, even as outside commentators continue offering different interpretations of future possibilities. Another reason Bauer's remarks attracted such widespread attention involves the ongoing conversation about reconciliation within the royal family. Ever since Harry and Meghan stepped back from official royal responsibilities, many royal watchers have speculated about whether relationships between the Sussexes and senior members of the family might eventually improve. Occasional meetings, family events, or reported private conversations often trigger renewed optimism among some observers, while others remain skeptical given the well-documented tensions that have existed in recent years. No official announcement has confirmed any comprehensive reconciliation between the Sussexes and the wider royal family. Public interactions have remained limited, and many details regarding private family relationships understandably remain confidential. Even so, every reported meeting or potential visit quickly becomes the subject of extensive commentary. In that context, Bauer's latest discussion was interpreted by some as another contribution to the broader debate about whether Harry and Meghan's long-term relationship with Britain could gradually evolve. At the same time, others cautioned against reading too much into opinions offered by commentators rather than the family members themselves. According to media analysts, one of the defining characteristics of royal coverage is the constant blending of confirmed reporting, expert analysis, and personal opinion. Readers often encounter headlines that sound definitive even when the underlying information consists primarily of interpretation rather than newly established facts. That's why distinguishing between verified developments and commentary remains especially important. In this case, the verified facts remain relatively straightforward. Harry and Meghan continue living in California with Archie and Lilibet. They have consistently emphasized protecting their children's privacy. And Tom Bauer has recently shared fresh opinions about the family's relationship with Britain. Beyond those established points, much of the wider discussion reflects differing perspectives rather than confirmed future plans. Yet because the future of Archie and Lilibet remains one of the most closely watched stories in the modern monarchy, every new opinion, interview, or reported development naturally attracts enormous global attention. Whether Bauer's latest observations eventually prove insightful, or simply become another chapter in the ongoing royal debate remains impossible to know today. What is certain is that the conversation surrounding Meghan, Harry, and their children continues evolving, and millions of royal fans around the world remain eager to see what happens next. As Tom Bauer's latest discussion continued making headlines, it became increasingly clear that the debate was no longer just about one interview or one set of comments. Instead, it had evolved into something much larger, a conversation about the future of Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and, perhaps most importantly, Archie and Lilibet. Royal supporters from every perspective began asking the same question: what kind of relationship will Harry and Meghan's children ultimately have with the royal family? While that question has existed for years, Bauer's latest observations brought it back into the spotlight. According to his recent commentary, he believes the Sussexes face important decisions regarding their long-term connection to Britain and the monarchy. Those remarks represent Bauer's personal interpretation, not official information from Buckingham Palace or the Sussex household. Nevertheless, because Bauer is one of the best-known royal biographers covering the family, his opinions frequently become major discussion points across British and international media. Some royal commentators agreed with his analysis, suggesting that maintaining stronger family ties with the United Kingdom could eventually benefit Archie and Lilibet as they grow older. Others argued just as strongly that Harry and Meghan have consistently demonstrated their commitment to raising their children outside the traditional royal environment and have shown no public indication of reversing that decision. According to the Sussexes' previous interviews and public statements, protecting their children's privacy has remained one of their highest priorities ever since stepping back from official royal duties. Harry has repeatedly spoken about wanting Archie and Lilibet to experience a childhood that is significantly different from his own, describing privacy and security as central concerns for his family. Meghan has echoed those sentiments, emphasizing the importance of allowing their children to grow up away from constant public attention whenever possible. Those publicly stated goals remain among the clearest indicators of the couple's parenting philosophy. Despite that, every rare photograph, birthday message, or reported visit involving Archie or Lilibet immediately generates worldwide headlines. According to media experts, that extraordinary level of interest exists because the children occupy an unprecedented position within the modern monarchy. They are members of one of the world's most famous families, while living almost entirely outside the royal institution. That combination naturally creates endless curiosity about what role, if any, they may choose to play in royal life as they grow older. Yet the reality is that no official plans have been announced regarding the children's future involvement with royal duties, and any predictions about that future remain speculative. Another reason Bauer's comments attracted widespread attention involves the continuing discussion surrounding reconciliation between Harry and his family. Ever since the Sussexes relocated to California, royal observers have closely watched every reported interaction between Harry and senior members of the monarchy. Family events, memorial services, and occasional private meetings have all prompted fresh speculation about whether relationships behind palace walls might gradually improve. Some commentators interpret those occasional contacts as encouraging signs of slow progress. Others believe meaningful reconciliation remains unlikely in the near future given the public disagreements that have unfolded over recent years. Neither Buckingham Palace nor the Sussexes have announced any comprehensive reconciliation, meaning much of the discussion continues to rely on interpretation rather than official confirmation. Even so, the possibility of improved family relationships remains one of the most frequently discussed topics in royal coverage. Bauer's latest interview naturally became part of that broader conversation, because any discussion involving Archie and Lilibet inevitably raises questions about future family connections. Meanwhile, supporters of Meghan and Harry have argued that much of the public debate overlooks one essential point. The couple has consistently requested that their children's private lives be respected. They point out that Archie and Lilibet have not chosen public life for themselves and therefore should not become the focus of constant speculation. Many commentators sympathetic to the Sussexes believe the children's limited public appearances demonstrate the couple's determination to protect them from the pressures Harry experienced while growing up in the royal spotlight. Others counter that, because Archie and Lilibet remain grandchildren of the reigning monarch, public interest in their lives is unlikely to disappear regardless of where they live. According to constitutional experts, however, curiosity alone does not determine constitutional roles, royal responsibilities, or future decisions. Those matters depend on choices made by the family itself rather than by media speculation. As newspapers, television programs, podcasts, and YouTube channels continued debating Bauer's latest observations, another familiar pattern emerged. Headlines often presented possibilities as though they were established outcomes, while opinion pieces sometimes blended commentary with factual reporting. Media analysts frequently caution readers to distinguish carefully between verified developments and informed speculation, particularly in royal coverage where private family conversations rarely become public. In this case, the verified facts remain relatively limited. Harry and Meghan continue living in California with Archie and Lilibet. they have consistently emphasized protecting their children's privacy. Tom Bower has recently shared fresh opinions about the family's future relationship with Britain, and those opinions have generated significant public debate. Beyond those established facts, much of the conversation reflects competing interpretations rather than confirmed plans. Yet perhaps that's precisely why this story continues captivating audiences around the world. It isn't simply about one interview or one commentator. It's about the future of a family that remains one of the most closely watched in modern history. Every opinion sparks another debate. Every reported visit inspires fresh theories. Every public appearance creates new headlines. Until Harry, Meghan, or the palace choose to reveal more about the family's long-term plans, the discussion surrounding Archie and Lilibet will likely remain driven by a mixture of verified facts, expert analysis, personal opinion, and the enduring fascination that has followed the Sussex family ever since they stepped away from royal life. As the debate surrounding Tom Bower's latest remarks continued to spread, the story gradually shifted away from the comments themselves and toward a broader question about the future of the Sussex family. Across television panels, newspaper columns, podcasts, and social media, people were no longer discussing only what Bower had said, they were debating whether the relationship between Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and the royal family could ever fully stabilize. Because Bower has spent years writing books and giving interviews about the monarchy, every new opinion he shares tends to receive significant media attention. However, it is important to remember that his analysis represents his personal interpretation of events rather than official confirmation from Buckingham Palace or the Sussex family. That distinction became increasingly important as headlines began presenting his observations in dramatically different ways. Some outlets portrayed his comments as evidence that Harry and Meghan may eventually strengthen their ties with Britain. Others framed the discussion as proof that deep divisions within the royal family remain unresolved. In reality, neither conclusion has been officially confirmed. What remains publicly known is relatively straightforward. Harry and Meghan continue to live in California with Archie and Lilibet. They occasionally travel internationally for charitable and professional commitments, and they have consistently emphasized protecting their children's privacy while continuing their independent charitable work. Beyond those confirmed facts, much of the conversation consists of interpretation rather than newly verified information. Another reason Bower's latest discussion resonated so strongly involves the changing role of the modern monarchy itself. During previous generations, younger members of the royal family typically grew up surrounded by palace traditions, official engagements, and public ceremonies from an early age. Archie and Lilibet's experience is dramatically different. They are growing up primarily outside the United Kingdom, away from the routine public duties associated with working royals. According to constitutional commentators, that unique upbringing makes predicting their future roles especially difficult. Some believe they may eventually choose to maintain only private family connections with Britain. Others speculate that they could develop stronger public relationships with royal institutions later in life. At this point, however, there has been no official announcement outlining any future public role for either child. Those decisions, if they are ever made, will ultimately belong to Harry, Meghan, and eventually Archie and Lilibet themselves. Nevertheless, because they remain grandchildren of King Charles III, every conversation about their future naturally attracts worldwide interest. Meanwhile, media coverage itself became part of the story. Royal experts noted that discussions surrounding the Sussexes often demonstrate how differently the same events can be interpreted depending on the commentator. A single family visit may be described by one analyst as a hopeful step toward reconciliation, while another interprets the exact same event as merely a practical family obligation. Tom Bower has consistently approached the Sussex story from a critical perspective, while other royal commentators frequently present more sympathetic interpretations of Harry and Meghan's decisions. Neither perspective automatically represents objective fact. Instead, each reflects different judgments based on publicly available information and personal analysis. That's why audiences are often encouraged to distinguish carefully between verified reporting, expert opinion, and online speculation. In this case, Bauer's recent comments have undeniably influenced public discussion, but they have not changed the confirmed facts surrounding the Sussex family's current circumstances. Supporters of Meghan Markle argue that much of the continuing criticism overlooks the couple's repeated efforts to establish an independent life focused on charitable initiatives, media projects, and raising their children away from constant public scrutiny. They point out that Harry and Meghan have consistently explained why privacy became such a priority following their departure from royal duties. Supporters also emphasize that the couple has repeatedly spoken about wanting Archie and Lilibet to enjoy as normal a childhood as possible despite belonging to one of the world's most famous families. Critics, on the other hand, continue questioning whether maintaining close family relationships with Britain while pursuing an independent public life will remain sustainable over the long term. Those differing opinions have fueled years of debate and remain central to discussions like the one sparked by Tom Bauer's latest interview. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this entire story is how conversations about Archie and Lilibet continue evolving despite the limited amount of verified public information available about them. Because Harry and Meghan rarely share details of their children's daily lives, almost every public appearance, birthday photograph, or reported family gathering becomes the subject of extensive media analysis. According to communications experts, that scarcity of information naturally increases public curiosity. When very little is officially known, commentators often devote greater attention to interpreting the few details that do emerge. That dynamic helps explain why Bauer's recent observations generated such significant interest even though they primarily reflected his own assessment rather than newly disclosed facts. As things stand today, the broader picture remains unchanged. Harry and Meghan continue building their lives in California. Archie and Lilibet remain largely outside the public spotlight. Buckingham Palace has not announced any major change in the family's relationship, and the Sussexes have not publicly outlined new long-term plans regarding their children's future connection with Britain. Tom Bauer's comments have certainly reignited discussion, but whether they ultimately prove insightful or simply become another chapter in the ongoing royal conversation will only become clear with time. Until new verified developments emerge, much of the debate will continue to revolve around differing interpretations rather than confirmed events. And in the modern era of royal coverage, where every opinion can generate international headlines within hours, that conversation is unlikely to disappear anytime soon. As the conversation surrounding Tom Bauer, Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and their children continues evolving, perhaps the biggest takeaway isn't about one interview or one headline, it's about how modern royal stories are created. In today's media landscape, a single comment from a well-known royal biographer can generate days of worldwide discussion, inspire thousands of reaction videos, and lead millions of people to debate events that have not yet happened. That's exactly what unfolded after Tom Bauer shared his latest thoughts about Meghan, Harry, and the future of Archie and Lilibet. His remarks immediately reignited familiar questions about family relationships, Britain, the monarchy, and what role, if any, the Sussex children may eventually play within royal life. Yet throughout all of the headlines, one fact has remained constant: many of the strongest conclusions being circulated are interpretations rather than officially confirmed developments. Tom Bauer has every right to present his analysis, just as other royal commentators have every right to disagree with it. But opinions, no matter how widely discussed, are not the same as official announcements from Buckingham Palace or statements from Harry and Meghan themselves. That distinction becomes especially important when conversations involve young children whose parents have consistently requested privacy on their behalf. Ever since stepping back from royal duties, Harry and Meghan have publicly emphasized that protecting Archie and Lilibet from constant public attention remains one of their highest priorities. Their actions over the past several years, including limiting public appearances, releasing only occasional family photographs, and speaking cautiously about their children's lives, have generally reflected that approach. At the same time, public curiosity has never faded. Because Archie and Lilibet remain grandchildren of King Charles III, every birthday, every reported visit, and every family milestone inevitably attracts global attention. That level of interest is unlikely to disappear regardless of where they live or how private their parents choose to be. According to royal historians, the Sussex children represent something entirely new within the modern monarchy, members of the royal family growing up primarily outside the United Kingdom while remaining connected through family ties. No previous generation has experienced quite the same circumstances, making predictions about their future especially difficult. Some commentators believe the children may eventually spend more time in Britain as they grow older. Others expect Harry and Meghan to continue prioritizing the independent life they have built in California. At present, neither possibility has been officially confirmed. Looking ahead, many royal observers believe the next few years could become especially significant. Major royal events, charitable projects, international travel, and family milestones may all create opportunities for occasional interaction between the Sussexes and the wider royal family. Whether those moments gradually strengthen family relationships or simply remain private occasions is impossible to know in advance. The palace has traditionally avoided commenting on private family matters, while Harry and Meghan have also become increasingly selective about what they choose to share publicly. That means much of the conversation surrounding reconciliation, future visits, and Archie and Lilibet's long-term connection to Britain will likely continue to be shaped by commentary rather than confirmed information. Meanwhile, Tom Bower's latest interview serves as another reminder of how influential royal commentators have become in today's media environment. A single interview can instantly reshape the public conversation, even when the underlying facts remain unchanged. Supporters of Bower view him as someone willing to ask difficult questions and challenge prevailing narratives. Critics argue that his conclusions often rely heavily on interpretation rather than direct evidence. Regardless of where people stand, there is little doubt that his opinions continue generating substantial public interest. Yet perhaps the most important lesson from this entire discussion is the need to separate three different categories of information: confirmed facts, informed opinion, and online speculation. Confirmed facts come from official statements or verifiable public events. Opinions come from commentators like Tom Bower, who analyze those facts through their own perspective. Speculation fills the gaps between them, often spreading rapidly across social media before additional information becomes available. Understanding those differences allows audiences to appreciate the discussion without confusing analysis with certainty. As the Sussex story continues unfolding, only Harry, Meghan, and the royal family know what private conversations are taking place behind closed doors. Future decisions regarding Archie and Lilibet will ultimately belong to their parents, not to commentators, headlines, or social media debates. Until those decisions are publicly announced, if they ever are, the discussion will remain driven by a combination of genuine curiosity, expert analysis, and the enduring fascination surrounding one of the world's most closely watched families. What do you think about Tom Bower's latest comments? Do you believe his analysis accurately reflects the future of Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, Archie, and Lilibet? Or do you think too much is being read into opinions rather than confirmed facts? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal family news, exclusive updates, and in-depth analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.